Welcome back to episode 135 of the Compound Podcast, presented by Parce Rum, my favorite rum, your favorite rum, our favorite rum, the Compound's favorite rum, Chicago's favorite rum, the world's favorite rum. What?
I think it is. It's worldwide. It's you're planting a tree.
Well,
everyone likes to save the earth.
We know it's an international company based in Colombia, making great rum, planting trees. And it's about that time of year, where you go get yourself a bottle of rum. It's cold. We're all in the north right now. We're all in the north. We're all in different places, being cold together. Everyone's cold together. And you know what? You know what the best way to warm up the insides is? Bottle of Parce rum.
That is a great way to warm up the insides, but it's not cold.
It's cold.
It is
not cold out there.
I
walked outside this morning in the AM, in the wee AM hours. And let me tell you, I was cold. I had gloves on. I had gloves.
How many different homes do you have?
I got
fly from home to home.
I got places. I'm all over. I am really all over for the next few weeks. I'm going to be recording the podcast from a different place every week for the next probably 5 weeks.
So this week you're in Chicago.
I'm in Chicago.
Yep. Nice. Did you get your trophy?
No.
When do you get it?
The award ceremony deal is in New York on Friday. I don't know if they're going to hand it to me then and I get to see it, but maybe.
Did you watch the show when they announced it on TV?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was watching it and it was funny. Like when they had Pena won and Real Muto won and I think Kyle Tucker won one. It's like, all right, you can take the trophy. And they're like, okay, what do you want me to do with it?
Yeah,
like, I gotta go hit BP. Like I got a game in an hour.
Gotta go play a game in a few hours. Yeah. That was really cool. Really cool to watch, see that. Well, we get a little highlight reel, a little fluff. It's nice. It's cool.
Did you remember all of the plays on the highlight reel? Or were you like sometimes like, damn, that was pure?
No, I remembered. I mean, yeah, like the baseball play memory, like you remember who hit the ball, where it was, what you were thinking.
Oh yeah. Isn't it sickening how athletes have like some don't remember shit, and then others like you could bring out like a play or a count to me and chances are I'm gonna remember what it is. But then I can't remember to turn a light off or something.
No, it's just that baseball brain where you have all of those plays in the reel.
Yeah. Zach is also just kind of dumb sometimes.
Oh,
like in like normal world things.
Come on, man.
Well, I mean that with all due respect. And I said with all due respect. So
you know why? Because fucking assholes like you just keep throwing at me.
That's not getting hit. Nice. It's not very. I hit you in the arm and in the shoulder. Does that hurt your brain?
Hey, toughen
up, dude. Tough
times up and in. I'm on the ground. Have to go on the IL for a concussion.
The second one wasn't up and in. It was nip or belly button height. Get out of the way.
I wake up sometimes in cold sweats because my elbow hurts from you.
But actually, Ian, congrats.
That was really cool.
That was sick. I watched the entire show. I don't think I've ever watched the show before in my life, but I was like, I'm going to watch for Ian, and it was awesome.
Thank you.
That is show. Gold, hey, and your glove next year.
That's so Kyle Tucker, I think, said that. I'm like, that's the coolest part is that forever your glove can have the gold patch, right?
Yeah. So for people who don't know, Rawlings, when you win the gold glove, hold on. Let me do something for the YouTubers.
He's got to have a glove nearby.
This is an incentive to watch on YouTube as well.
Yes.
Okay. So for all the people who are watching on the YouTube, you see the nice little Rawlings patch right here is red. Okay. If you win the gold glove, that becomes gold. And the whole thing is gold. And the only way you can have that on your glove is if you've won a gold glove. No one else is allowed to have it. And that's the coolest thing. So if you ever see a guy on the field do one of these, it's because they have the gold. And Stroman will do it. Some other guys have done it. Jay Hay will do it for other. He doesn't really do it for himself, but he'll do it for other guys when they make a play like that.
It's the best. Like if you hear mic'd up, going back to the mic'd up, and someone makes a nice play, and they're like, "That's why he's got gold." It's awesome.
This is the sickest. And like, yeah, whenever Jay Hay or like Riz would make a sick play, I would always be like, what Jay's got.
Yeah, he's
four?
got platinum on his.
4 or
Both of them
5.
do.
Well,
you can get a platinum color one.
That's what
Yeah,
is there a
Riz is
platinum
platinum.
patch too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Riz is
that's
platinum.
So sick.
So like, guys got gold, or like that's 5 times gold. Not
The
getting
best
past
is
that.
or like they'll be like, that's why that glove's a little bit heavier.
So I'm very excited. I actually, Rawlings is sending me my gloves for next year. They'll probably come December or January, and it's like, can we get those patches put on there? Can the patches put on the new ones?
Might as well
right
put
away?
it on my jersey too, where the C would be.
Yeah,
right
I mean
here.
that's
Let everybody know.
the coolest. That's the coolest thing ever. And then the trophy is really cool. I said this, but that's like, besides the old commissioner's trophy, the World Series trophy, like that's the coolest trophy in baseball. So
Ian, another just quick thing. How I don't know. I thought I read something. How you kind of always thought about winning a Gold Glove, but like when I play with you, and then kind of coming up, I just thought you're a first rounder who banged, and that was kind of like your way to get through the minor leagues, right? I mean, yeah, you could play multiple positions, but like, when were you? I don't know, like not expecting, or when did that even come like a rational thought? Like, hey, I might want to win a Gold Glove.
because
Because
like,
you try, because not saying you tried to play in football, you played infield for a little bit too, and then you
Yeah.
kind of just solidified yourself in left and center.
well, like when you're a kid and you're playing shortstop and you're the best player, like it's all you dream. Like,
Yeah.
I took a lot of pride in defense coming up, growing up, and like played shortstop my whole life. And like took a lot of pride in that. I was not as good as I thought I was, I'm sure, but like I really, I took a lot of pride in that defensive work and like feeling like I could play that in college and play that at the next level. And I get to college and play infield my first year. I played, kind of bounced around to get in the lineup, but then I played mostly second my freshman year in college. Then I went to the Cape, same thing. Like it was a freshman on the Cape, and like there's showcase dudes who have to play short and second. So I end up like bouncing around, playing outfield, playing first. And then new college coach comes in and moves me to the outfield. So like I didn't have a chance to, like I always thought that I could do it in the infield. Didn't have a chance. Then I got drafted, go play infield, try to learn how to play second base. Same thing, get to the big leagues. And like, yeah, we got like 8 second basemen who are really good and then bounce around. And that's how you get in the lineup. And like, when you don't have a position, let me tell you, when you don't have a position that you're playing every day, really hard to win the Gold Glove in that spot. So, and like hard to get good or to like really feel like you can master it. And I always felt like, it's just, you have the confidence in yourself, but I always felt like if I had a chance to lock down one spot, yeah, wasn't going to be shortstop in the big leagues, but like if I had a chance to lock down one spot, wherever that was, like, and really put all of my effort into it, I was going to be an above average defender. Not like,
Sure.
Hey man, there's a lot of really good athletes in the big leagues, but like, I'm a good athlete, not a below average defender. Like if you give me one spot, I can be above average. And then, as we're going through this year, and I always felt like try to play center field for as long as I can, but then like, hey, if I'm going to play left field every day, if that's what it's going to be, yeah, I'm going to find a way to make myself the best I possibly can be at that position. It's the first time probably since high school that I've been able to focus on one spot and run out to one spot every single day and feel like I could learn that, be completely and totally entrenched in like what it takes to dominate that position. And to be able to do that for 158 games and go out there every single day to one spot. Like I really think that that's what I always believed I could do. And to have that like all come full circle and to get some of that like recognition for it it's a cool feeling.
It is really cool. And, to hear for me, obviously both of you guys both know that I love infield. I love defense, and kind of hearing people talk about how they take so much pride in defense is awesome, because like nobody talks about defense unless they have to, whether it's a really good play or it's a shitty play in a big situation. That's kind of like, you'll get the occasional, yeah, Ian Happ's doing great out there, but there's no like, yeah, the defensive run saved, whatever. But like, I think to the regular baseball fan, it's not really talked about and explained well enough, in my opinion. So to like hear that, there are so many guys out there who, say that they take pride in defense is like, I think that's really cool, because not many people, like I said, talk about it, or I don't want to say care about it, but like everyone's like, oh yeah, this guy hit, 62 homers this year. But like, Aaron Judge is probably one of the better right fielders in all of baseball too.
Yeah.
And that's just that's not even talked about.
I'm not the type of guy that like goes out when something like this happens and is like for all the people, but like I took,
Right.
You work really hard on your craft, and like I took a lot of pride in defense, and like when stuff would come out, or even like within people in the organization or scouts or whatever, that said, there's no position or below average defender or struggle. It's like, well, shit, you go play 7 positions in the big leagues. Like I've played
Hard.
7, and I played 5 regularly, 6 when I would fill in at first. Like, go play 5 positions in the big leagues, cover 2 infield positions and 3 outfield positions. Like,
your mind is spinning.
Who
like,
does
no
that
matter-
above average? Yeah. And I
100,
would always, that was the one thing that I would always feel like slighted on, is like, I can do this at a high level if I'm given the opportunity. And, now you get, once that's Gold Gloves attached to your name, that, some of those doubts go away, which is nice. But like, shit, I was
100%.
always like, God damn.
It is so hard to play more than one. Like, your mind is spinning on defense regardless, especially in the big leagues. Just again, but like the game is so fast. Like, I don't care what you say. The difference between a AAA game, just like your mental aspect, like your heart rate, it feels like you have to be in the absolute perfect spot every play. You're not going to be trusted out there. So it's like, for you to, explain how, you're not comfortable at one position. It's like, hey, Ian, go play third. You haven't played there in 2 years. And by the way, it's the bottom of the ninth, no doubles. And this guy might bunt, but you have to be back, but you also have to be in to take away a double. Go get him.
Yeah, dude.
And you're the cutoff man. And make sure you hear if Contreras wants the ball cut off or not.
Dude, 2018 KB goes down. I haven't played third base really in my life. Like, I've played it, but like consistently, never. KB goes down. There's at bats at third. Guess who's playing third? Your boy, Eugenio Suarez is just hitting rockets to me at third base. I'm like, God, like, I've never been over here. I don't even know where I'm standing. I'm literally, my head is in the dugout because our infield coach is moving me every play into position. And then like, you're trying to be like competent out there and help the team and be serviceable. And it's like, dude, you know how hard it is to play 3 infield positions. To cover third, short, and second, and all the nuances of those 3 is hard, let alone bouncing in and out in game. Go play 6 innings at third, and then when it's time to flip around, you're going to go play left, and then we're going to do all stuff. And it's like, all right, and then you're going to do it tomorrow. I was like,
you said it before, that doesn't even take into account like the wind in Wrigley. Like, you can't practice that. Like, you can't practice for like, oh, there's a swirling wind. Like,
And you guys, 18, are fighting for a wild card spot. So basically every game matters. Obviously every game matters in general, but like it's just more of a spotlight like that. Like, people don't think about that shit.
Yeah, and I think it's hard. It's hard to like to describe to people like how hard it is to practice like what you actually see in the game. Like, coach can hit you fungos, you can work on choppers, you can work on this stuff, but the actual like simulating game reps, like simulating the top spin from a third baseman, simulating the 1-hop rocket into your chest that you have to like drop step on, that's time, that's experience, that's years and years of getting comfortable with different types of ground balls and where you are, and like then making the throw. Like, all that stuff comes into account. And the reason why the dudes that are the best in the world are the best in the world is because Nolan Arenado's been playing third base for 15, 20 years. Like, this dude is so good at it because he does it every single day.
It's so low key, like what you said about having game like reps. Like, no matter what, somebody hits a fungo, not even close. And it shows because every day, like, infielding coaches and players are always talking like, hey, how can we make this more realistic or game-like? Like, we've tried like 5 different ways to hit a fungo, like whether it's side flip, a flip right ahead of you, lobbing it in, throwing it a little bit firmer, just so you could make it as game-like as possible. And it's still not even close to being game-like. And then that's your only time to practice, basically.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the same as in the outfield too. Like, it's tough to like bounces off walls in different stadiums you play in. Like, is it a padded wall? Is it the ivy? Like, it's tough to practice how it's going to come off of that.
Yeah. And go shag BP when dudes are hitting rockets
it's a home run
and
derby.
hitting homers. And it's like, okay, Yeah. Guess what? When a guy takes a full swing and gets it off the end and make
And
that
you
read.
sprint back.
Guess what read you don't get in BP? The full swing off the end read or like the broken bat read.
And they're saying, why is Ian Happ in fucking left field? This is a joke. And you're just like, hey, asshole, you come and do it. Come and look.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
are you breaking?
Yeah. I mean, that's
It's-
that's the it's really hard to play multiple positions, to do all that, to learn the game at all these spots. And then when you are that guy that floats around, I've said this before, but you get judged at 5 positions. At first base, you get judged against Anthony Rizzo. At second base, you get judged against, Javi Baez and Tommy Edman. At third base, you get judged against Nolan Arenado. In left field, you get judged against Alex Gordon. In center field, you get judged against like every single one of the best players who has played the position their entire life is the guy you get judged against. And like that it's nuts. It's nuts.
One more thing about like Dakota's point about playing outfield, how it's the same thing. Like I bounced around a little bit and I was fine, serviceable. And then I played there in high school. But like whenever somebody asks, hey, can you go play the outfield? Like, yeah, sure. How hard can it be? But like nobody sees the early work that outfielders do, like ground ball work, because of pressing through a ball that you have to throw somebody out on a do or die play, and like worrying about those little short hops where it's like, as an infielder, I know that like, yeah, I want to get a short hop or I want to get no hop. And it's like, I go out in the outfield and I'm like, oh my God, I'm running full speed at this ball, trying to field it on the side of my body to try to throw somebody out. And like, it happened once in a game and it was just like, I was like, oh my God. And that's not even talking about the ball when it snakes. Like people don't know if the way the grass is cut against the grain, it'll literally shake back and forth like a snake.
Well, and another one, especially in minor league stadiums, is the lights. Like, like Zach lost in the lights when we played him. But that's what I mean. Yeah. Like, people don't realize, they're like, how do you lose it in the lights? Like, you come try to see it. Like, good luck. Yeah. It disappears. Yeah, it's crazy.
This has been a great defensive discussion. We could talk all day about it, and I could scream at the clouds about it. Let me tell you, I could scream.
No, you can't. You got gold. It's all good.
I got gold. We need to talk about the World Series. Dakota, I think, is the first one that wants to yell at the clouds. Dakota, do you want to yell?
I don't want to yell at the clouds. I didn't like, and I get Alvarado is like their guy. He's like their shutdown guy. I didn't like him coming in to face Alvarez. I think that was the last game, wasn't he? He gave up the homer, the nuke to center.
Yes.
I like how many, I don't know like the stats on this, but like how many times did Alvarez see him over the course of the series? Probably every single game. Also, an insane stat is how good Alvarez hits against lefties. He has a better average against lefties and still has like he still has a 950 OPS or 900, something like that. I just didn't like it because he's seen him so many times. It was just one of those things.
I know that it's the when you're in the playoffs and like especially when it's sudden, like you're down to, if you lose, you're done. Like the idea of sticking to like, hey, starter got us through 5 or 6. He's on short or rest, and that wasn't like short, but shorter. And as soon as he gets in trouble, like we got to go to the bullpen. And he had 70 pitches. He's your best guy.
It was Nola, right?
No, it was Wheeler.
Oh yeah, it was Wheeler. Sorry.
And I just like, man, I know it's really tough. I know it's really tough to stick with that guy. And like hindsight, it's so easy. Like if
of course, if he strikes him out, it's like, oh, great.
If that dude comes in and punches a couple tickets and they get out of the inning, it's different. But like, man, I would have liked to see him keep going. And like what that does for you, if you can get through and he has less bullpen to use, and then they get to the next day, they can have more fresh arms. It's tough. It's so tough. I don't want to manage in the big leagues. That would be so hard.
Yeah. And I get it. Like, it's like, hey, this is a huge spot in the game. Who's our best arm? It's Alvarado. Let's go to him. And I understand that, but it's just, I'm with you. I would have liked to see Wheeler, like, yeah, he's on short rest, whatever. And I don't know Zach Wheeler, but I imagine that he's like, I don't care. I will throw 120 pitches.
He said it caught him off guard. He was like,
that's what I mean. Like Brandon Morrow threw in every single game in the World Series when you're like, those guys, like, at least that's how I'd be personally. It'd be like, I would love to be out there unless my arm is hanging by a thread. I'd be like, what am I saving myself for? Like if something happens, it happens. That's just baseball. But I mean, it's also, Ian, you said hindsight 2020. If Alvarado comes in and strikes out the next three guys, it's like, oh, what a great decision. And I'm not questioning Rob Thompson at all because I get it. Bring your best arm. It's just seemed to me like this is the same guy that's seen him so many times. Like he's got to have him by now because Jordan Alvarez is such a good hitter.
If I saw his pitch count closer to 100, if it was 90.
Yes.
It's 70. That's so I'm just like, I have to interrupt this. I have to interrupt this talk because I have to talk about Manscaped. Okay. Because we're doing 20% off. And we're doing free shipping with code compound. It's manscaped.com, 20% off, free shipping, code compound. You guys know about the performance package, the 4.0. Got the lawnmower trimmer. Who loves the lawnmower trimmer?
I do. I love it.
Me. You got the weed whacker for the ears and the nose hairs. You got all kinds of stuff. This package is and the briefs. You guys got the briefs.
I do.
Who
Zach
wears the
wears them
briefs?
all the time.
You wear the
I
briefs?
wear them all
You
the time.
briefs?
All the time.
The package, the 4.0 package is about as good as you can get. And the holidays are coming up. They're coming up. Maybe use this code. Maybe use 20% off free shipping code compound. A little gift. A little gift. You guys, anything else?
That is a
You
great
guys
gift.
Manscaped?
That was gonna
That
say
is
it's
a great
actually
gift.
a really good.
I
gift.
would actually recommend it. It's very convenient to have, especially like you said, the weed whacker. I've never cleaned out my nose hairs. It's a good decision. It helps.
That helps, especially. It's cold up here. It's
You
the
telling
winter.
me you clean out your nose hairs all the time? Stop.
Weed
You
whack.
looked at
weed
me like
whack.
I was crazy. Like,
Come on, weed whack
trim your
it.
nose
Weed
hair.
whack it.
I'm gonna weed whack it. I would never use anything else.
Nope. Never. Do you guys want to talk about anything else from the series? Do you want to talk about the
Yeah.
Astros at all? I think, Astros are a really good baseball team. Good for them. I think
So-
the Phillies, watching the Phillies run was unbelievable. The Astros were the best team in baseball all year. I mean,
They
that's
really
not true.
were.
The Dodgers were really, really
Well,
good.
but the Astros were the most under the radar to me, at least. I didn't notice how good they were the whole year. Like, would they have 104 wins, something like
The
that? In the
Yankees
regular
were just overshadowing them.
And the Yankees had less wins, obviously, but like,
Yeah.
the Yankees overshadowed them storyline wise. But Jeremy Pena, I don't like the Astros. I'm not afraid to say I don't like the Astros. I feel like America doesn't like the Astros. That's just how it is now. That's a fact of life. That's how it goes. I don't like them. I was rooting for the Phillies because also our friend Kyle Schwarber's on the Phillies. I was rooting for him. But Jeremy Pena is fun to watch play baseball. Zach has to love watching that guy play baseball.
Dude, it's crazy. Guy steps in for Correa, wins a Gold Glove, wins ALCS MVP,
World
wins
Series MVP.
World Series
Yeah.
MVP. Like, what? When
Yeah.
like you
In a
dream
tool.
about?
In a
like-
tool. He wasn't stuck down the 8-hole. It's like, hey, we're putting this. Like, we
Bro.
want him at the plate.
It's funny, like you dream about as a kid, like, oh man, I want to, like Ian said, I want to win a Gold Glove, and like this guy just attacked and knocked off 3 huge accomplishments in back-to-back weeks, and it's like, what the fuck? Where does that happen?
I wonder, I wonder, this is a hot take. I wonder when he would have been in the big leagues if Correa wasn't
I mean, he's only what, 24 right now?
He
like 24,
probably-
25. Like
he
I
probably
want,
would've
like I
been
wonder
trade
if they
bait.
held him back because Correa was there. They had L2, but they had Bregman. Like there's nowhere really where to go.
Don't you think he would have been traded at the deadline if Correa signed back this year? I bet Pena gets like a deadline trade, like to get a big piece, like
A piece or
100%.
Yeah, but I mean, awesome for him. What a playoff run and what a start to a career. He's a really exciting player. He put himself on the map. I think also like the most underrated thing, the Astros bullpen, just unbelievable.
Oh,
I mean,
Starting pitching was great.
wasn't
Starting
fair.
Pitching was there for him, but the bullpen was amazing. We talked about Presley last episode about his mix. I mean, he had 5-6 saves. Like he threw every
Insane.
day. He was lights out. Probably one of the most underrated closers in baseball.
100%.
And just
Brian
really,
Abreu
really
to me was a guy I saw he'd come in the game, and I was like, I don't know why. I was like, they're not going to score like this
Bro,
guy's.
he was like
This
11
guy's not
innings with
fair.
like 16 or 17 punchies with no runs. Like,
He hasn't
get him.
given up a run since October 5th. I think that was still a regular season. It was. He didn't give up a single run in the postseason.
what the fuck?
And
that's
he
just
threw like
So
8,
obviously
10,
you
12
guys, I mean,
innings.
so, everybody, like what Dakota was saying.
4 total hits.
Huh?
4 total hits the whole postseason. He gave up in like 12 innings. That's pretty good.
Joke.
Is that good?
That's like, and that's real quick. Sorry, Zach, to
No, you're good.
interject. that's another thing for a reliever. I feel like is very understated. Like if you're a reliever and it's a tight spot, one base runner, especially like say you're in Philadelphia, you get a base runner on and the crowd is nuts. You know what I mean? Like if you go 1, 2, 3, you don't let them get going. But if you walk the leadoff guy or leadoff guy gets a single, all of a sudden, like, oh, here's a rally. Like, here we go. Like he would just come in and be like, nah, you're not even touching first base.
Strike three, strike three, strike three.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Zach.
No. So obviously 2017 from like then on, like that talk was just like, oh, Astros are cheaters. Like, you know, whenever anybody talked about it and around baseball, we all knew like the Dodgers, the Astros can develop anybody. And it just goes to show, but like there was always kind of a little bit of skepticism, like, you know, it's the Astros. Yeah, they're really good, but like, what are they doing over there? But it's just like, again, they win this year, and it's like, what else can you say? They develop and they win.
That's exactly like, I agree with you. The whole narrative is they're cheaters. Like, what are they doing? But what they're doing is they develop the shit out of their pitchers. The position players too, but their pitchers especially are like, we saw it in the minors playing against Round Rock and all. Like they have guys that I'm like, you'd be in 29 big league bullpens. Like, how are you still down here?
You said it. That guy Hensley. Like, nope. We were texting our group message. Like
I said,
nobody's heard about this guy. And you look at his stats, and he's 300 this year in AAA. And it's just like, what the fuck? Where are these guys coming from?
That guy came up to the plate, and I texted our group text. I said, maybe I don't watch a ton of baseball, but I said I've never heard this name in my life. And he's playing in the World Series, and I'm watching it, drinking a beer. I was like, that's not a knock on this guy. I just had never heard of him. And I was like, he's starting a World Series game. Who is this?
And I think it's an interesting kind of mix between the two teams. You have the Phillies who have gone out and acquired a lot of talent, put together a really, really good team. Obviously, all the big free agent signings. And, you know, you can see how that team in a tough division wins 85, 87 games, however many they won. And then it makes this great run because they have really, really good players. And like how that stood up in the playoffs, how the power plays in the playoffs. And it was super fun to watch. And then you have the Astros on the other side who have, you know, they have some big arms. I guess Verlander, I'm trying to think who else was acquired free agent.
McCullers came up with them. What's the other starter's name? The invisible guy?
Javier. He came up with them.
He came up with them.
But they've done, I mean, but you know, they've kind of grown it, but they've paid their guys. They paid Altuve, they paid Bregman, they paid Jordan.